I got another cross versus battle for you. And I was thinking about this one for, a couple of days. This is Inuyasha versus Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. Inuyasha, for people who don't know, he's the half-breed demon from the feudal era. He had to fight demons to collect the Shikon jewel shards, and then undefile it or keep it away from Naraku so he doesn't become a more powerful demon. Naraku is basically the main villain of Inuyasha. He had help on this journey, but see, this man has his own powers. He's a half demon, right? He's a half dog demon, half human. This guy has great smell. Because of that, he can smell humans, demons, and all that shit. You know, he has Tensaiga, which is the fang of his father, Toge, right? So now this fang can collect demon energy and attacks from other demons. He has the Wind Scar, he has the Backlash Wave, he has the Adamant Barrage, he has Dragon Scale Tensaiga, he has Scarlet Red Tensaiga, he has Mado Zangetsuwa. He has a whole bunch of moves that he got from these demons. And then he has his own strength. Like, let's say that his sword falls out of his hand during this fight. He becomes, like, more demonic. And he's more, like, savage, more feral. And ready to, like, fucking cut shit down with his claws. Blades of blood and Iron Reaver Soul Stealer, right? Now, the other guy that everybody knows about, Tanjiro. Tanjiro has Hinokamikagura breathing. That's sun breathing. He has water breathing. He has, he is grown to be, physically, pretty damn good, like on the level of a Hashira. Like with just his physical skills, like physical strength and whatnot. But in that verse to like this verse, it's not quite the same. They're not the same. Like, not these two characters. You'll find out real quick, son. Let me school you a little bit in why these characters like this. Know there's two scenarios. The first scenario is gonna be Edo, feudal era Japan, and then the second scenario is gonna be in the Taisho period in Demon Slayer. They'll be fighting on the Mugen train, and in Inuyasha they'll just be fighting in the forest, near the Bone Eater as well. Now, that's where the first scenario was at. Physical strength goes to Inuyasha. Again, Tanjiro's a human being. He's at a being's limit for, how strong a boy of, like, I don't know, 110 pounds and, 5, whatever he is, right? Inuyasha is a half demon, half human, all right? This guy is, in like, when he gets into his feral state, if he drops his sword, right, he's even stronger. He was able to rip through a demon who has tough skin, hard skin, in one slash, just rip through it. That's ripping through Tanjiro. That's physical striking power right there, right? Inuyasha has the physical strength. Speed, this is where I was like, kind of like, but then I'm like, nah. Because Inuyasha, even though he carries a heavy Tensaiga, and that does kind of slow him down a little bit, he's still moving pretty damn quick. Tanjiro's fast too. I'm gonna say that their speeds are, somewhat similar when he has Tensaiga in his hand, and he probably used Tensaiga in this fight. But I think Inuyasha's still faster. He can react to anything that Tanjiro throws. Durability goes to Inuyasha as well. Now, Inuyasha's not a tank. This man, he's taking blows from other demons and shit, right? But no humans ever, like, cornered him in that manner. Not while he's in his demon form or in his, like, half demon, base form, right? Usually at night when they try to corner him and shit, right? The human beings. Now that's what you would want to corner him, right? Even then, he's still physically strong too, and durable, more than Tanjiro. Endurance goes to Inuyasha. Inuyasha can stay in a fight long. He fought demons who were basically stronger than him. He had to obtain their abilities too, and use the abilities of the sword, the ability of Tenseiga that he already had, and the new ability that was acquired to beat some of these demons. And then some demons he had to rely on his, demon blood. And that was, from a drawn out fight, right? Trying to not rely on Tenseiga, but then having to, rely on his own strength, you know. And he was bleeding and all kind of shit during these fights. Now, I'm not saying Tanjiro hasn't been in those fights too, where he's been in those long fights, dragged out running Gyutaro and, you know, Upper Moon 4 and all that. But in this fight, Inuyasha is more powerful than even they are. So I don't see it happening. Bro. He doesn't have that choice. I mean, he has that choice, but once we get to talking about other things, it's not even a choice anymore. Intellect, I'm giving that to Tanjiro. Our boy Tanjiro is smart. He ain't an idiot. He tries to learn everything he can about, being a better demon slayer, from his, superiors, his people who are senior officers and shit. So he can, better manage these demons. And it actually helped him out. That's how he's able to help fight against Akaza in that movie, right? Experience goes to Inuyasha. Inuyasha is a demon who's lived for a little bit. He's been around the block a couple times and back again, right? Close skills go to Inuyasha. Tanjiro and Inuyasha without swords, even with swords, Tanjiro has the edge in swordsmanship. But let's say that he knocks the sword out of Inuyasha's hand, which I don't think he has enough, strength to do that. But let's say that he, cuts him enough, with some like quick slashes, and he drops it. He's pissed now. So now he's going close skills on him, ripping through him and all kind of shit. Right? That's doing damage in close range. Range skills, he has the wind scar. Inuyasha does. Tanjiro has no range skills. Nothing that can block that. Adamant Barrage. Nato doesn't get to her. If he uses that move, the fight's over, right? Any of those three moves would like end the fight quickly. Recoup goes to Inuyasha. Being a half demon, he can, heal quicker than, a human being. Tanjiro is a human being, he's gonna heal quicker than him. Hacks go to Inuyasha. Like I said, this Tenseiga has 5 moves. Actually 6 moves. Actually I think one more that I haven't thought of. But 6 moves from 6 different demons that it can use. And then on top of that, Inuyasha has his own demon hands that it can use. Tanjiro only has water breathing and sun breathing, and that's not enough. Environment goes to Inuyasha this time. In the next scenario, strength goes to Inuyasha, speed goes to Inuyasha, durability goes to Inuyasha, endurance goes to Inuyasha, intelligence goes to Tanjiro, experience goes to Inuyasha, close skills go to Inuyasha, range skills go to Inuyasha, recoup goes to Inuyasha, and hacks go to Inuyasha. With Tanjiro having the advantage this time because it's on the Mugen train. Inuyasha has seen trains because he's actually been to the modern era of Japan because he crossed through the Bone Eat as well. But we're still giving it to Tanjiro here. He can smell demon on Inuyasha, but that's the thing. Inuyasha can smell a human better because like Tanjiro's trained himself to smell demon, right? He's kind of catching whiffs of demonic energy coming from Inuyasha. But I'm telling you, Inuyasha's nose is a lot stronger because he's half dog boy. And with that, our dog demon guy, Inuyasha, wins. Low difficulty. Low difficulty. Actually, no to low diff. No diff to low diff. Basically, he could end that shit right away if he felt like it. But if he wants to like see what Tanjiro's doing or let Tanjiro get the first swing, you know, then he gets serious. It's over. This fight is not what you think. You gotta watch Inuyasha. I know. Inuyasha ain't that long though. It ain't that long. It ain't that long, alright? It's only about 200 episodes. So watch it. It's in my top 10. That's why I recommended it for you. And it ain't too long, like I said. You know, but only for you people who've watched a little bit of anime. You know, you got like 5 under your belt. Watch this one. Be cool, on the corner, and let me know what you think about this fight below.